playing around with strings in different records of mine before, but it was never a complete idea. It was always a bit here and a bit there, but I've always had the dream to make it into a whole thing, into a complete project. Some people would tell me even, you know, you should do something with an orchestra, or you should do some classical music. And I said, I always said that I loved it, but I've never really had the full experience and time and confidence to go about it. So it took me 3 years to really write enough material and to reflect back and listen to it and realize that it's something that must happen. In the last 3 years, I've started writing more and more for string quartet and also for oboe. And the music that came out of it was so sincere and so strong, and for me, a sign to something I need to do, something I need to present as a whole idea. And sure enough, now that's what I'm doing. That's how this record came about. The classical quartet is 2 violins and 1 viola, but because a lot of my music is written in a lower register, you can say, or I write in a low register a lot of times, I thought 2 violas would accommodate that better. And sure enough, again, it was something great to be revealed and for me to see that 2 violas is an incredible sound. It's a bit more melancholic, and it fits some of the music that I write. And then on top of that, to make it a little brighter and to shine a bit more, I took the oboe, and that's really making it a special sound. Choosing the tunes for this record was a bit different than other records of mine, as it's been a longer process, the whole thing. We've been rehearsing a few years, and I've been checking out different arrangements and rewriting things and taking things from my past compositions and rearranging them. So it came in a way where there's a diversity of compositions, whether new ones that are through composed, like classical pieces, aside to a standard like A Child Is Born by Thad Jones that I've arranged many years ago and rearranged for this band. Working with string quartets and an oboe player, musicians that are used to work mainly with written music for classical music, older repertoire, was a challenge and still is a challenge, but especially in the beginning, rhythmically and also on a human level, the way they are used to work and they are used to rehearsing is different than what we are used to. And it took time to adjust, but that's a great part of it, because I love the challenge of not having to do something I've done again. When you have a different kind of configuration for a band, so different with the strings and the oboe, and you write the music and then you listen, and you still recognize those places about yourself, it means that you really cannot escape from yourself. I think that this record, listening back to it, I'm realizing it's got a depth and it's got an intimacy that maybe is particular to it, and I don't know if more than other records, but has a lot of that, has a lot of insular moments that are almost, when I write music, that I feel that I'm in a bubble. I think you feel it when you hear this record sometimes. loved through composed music, whether it's Bach or just a pop song that's one way. And I've also always had this notion in me, or this urge in me to go wild and to forget everything and to just improvise and to invent on the spot. So in this band, in this group, it's the most obvious because you have more through written music than before. It's like a classical setting with the jazz. You escape into the jazz world. You go from a very written piece into this piano solo suddenly. Those worlds are stronger now. It's more obvious. The solo is more obvious and the written music is more obvious because both of them are limited. There's a limit time to everything. So it's not like, yeah, solo as much as you want, or you have to be you have a minute to solo here. So it brings out a different kind of musicianship. Again, one of the things about this album that I think is a new level for me is the loyalty to each side of things. I find great joy in writing music, specific music, writing exactly these notes. It's part of my identity. But then, the ability to improvise is something that I have as well, and I hire musicians that are great at it. So I'm even more interested in hearing what my piano player is going to say, or how he's going to interpret this music. And the strength in this record is more than any of the records that I've done in that sense, because it's like an orchestra playing, and boom, it falls into this irresponsible moment of someone interpreting something free. The power of this is huge, and I don't know many records like that. I'm glad to say that I think that I've found something.